Island and welcome to Insight. Over recent months in Israel, the communication between the country's diverse communities has been difficult. With hatred sweeping the social networks and present in the streets, how can open dialogue survive between Jews and Arabs? After all, coexistence is more than just living side by side. Well, in the Galilee, a local initiative has brought together Israeli women, Jewish, Muslim, and Christian, around a central theme, the olive tree and their passion for painting. These women were each other's neighbors. They've met, spoken, and interacted in daily life. Despite the terrible violence of reality, this human-to-human dialogue may succeed where politics have failed. I-24 News' Harael traveled with these women and brought us their story, The Olive Trees, Art That Bonds.
I've called my tree the tree of peace because that's what unites us.
The olive tree for me is the land. The olive tree is born with the land, and we can't separate them.
Almost everyone who knows me knows that it's useless to give me a cake or something else, just a jar of olives, and that's all. I love it.
אני גדלתי בבית, וגדלתי בהרצליה, הרצליה פיתוח, ושם...
I grew up in a house. I grew up in Herzliya, Herzliya Pituach, and there I was filled with racism and prejudice. And I remember that, really, I kept telling myself, but why? These are human beings like us. Isn't it about time for something to happen and change all that?
I realized that for my children, and yet I am a tolerant person with liberal opinions, well, for my children, every Arab is a potential terrorist. And since then, I have within me the desire to create a project that will create a kind of reality, create another type of society.
Therefore, I said to myself, I work in something that's easily obtainable, something I find to be most beautiful. I think art heals, painting heals. I said, now I'll take my material and build a program. I invite Jewish and Arab painters, and we organize meetings to paint together a common theme.
And that's how a year ago they began to meet in the small Vizo Association Center in the town of Afula, about 30 women from all over the Galilee. Artistic meetings around the theme of the olive tree, which gradually turned into a genuine dialogue.
It's true, I identify with any person in distress, Israeli soldiers, children in Gaza. I feel for anyone in difficulty, especially over there where the situation is difficult. It touches me.
Excuse me? Why does one have to be an Arab to identify what is happening in Gaza? What happened during Operation Protective Edge, in Khan Younis, in Rafah, all we saw during the operation, it's heartbreaking. No matter whether you're Jewish or Arab, every mother suffers. A mother is a mother.
If we do not talk, we will never understand each other. Never. Me, I will keep this sorrow in my heart, and the other will keep it in her heart. And maybe something will happen and explode. It should never come to that. We must talk like human beings.
The project, which began as a small community project, has turned into an international exhibition that will run throughout Europe.
You're free, have fun, buy yourself a lot of things.
This morning, the artists traveled to Mulhouse, France, and are very excited. For some, this is the first time that they're traveling outside of Israel.
How are you? Nice to meet you. I thank you for the beautiful work you have done. It's very moving, and you'll see what we tried to do. I hope you'll enjoy it.
The place chosen to host this unique exhibition is the Protestant Church in Mulhouse. Everything is in place. In a moment, the guests will arrive. The speeches will begin, and these Jewish and Arab women who started their journey with simple paintings of olive trees will become the stars of the evening.
I think it's an amazing idea and a really beautiful message, provided that everyone is aware of it.
The idea is beautiful, and there's a great atmosphere. I think it's in our hands, we women, to find a way. The men are all talk. They say a lot of silly things.
My name is Asma Khalaf. I'm an Israeli Arab from the village of Muqable.
The fact that I joined this group of women who paint trees gave me the opportunity to express my identity through art. My childhood, my Arab identity, my identity as a woman, an Arab, a Palestinian, and a Christian.
Away from the lights and the crowd, we find Hannah. She did not start her journey in Afula, far from it, actually in the 1940s and in the worst place in the world.
In May 1944, we were brought to Auschwitz. Then, all of a sudden, my mother told her sister, "Nobody comes out of this shower. They only go in. And what are these smokestacks for?" She took my hand, and while the SS were busy pushing the people, she took me and told her sister, "I'm taking the small one to do pee-pee." And then she left. They hid in a nearby canal, and she waited. She continued in...
And you were with her?
In her arms, she carried me. I was 7.5 years old. She carried me in her arms and managed to escape. It's a miracle. Only 6 people managed to escape from Auschwitz out of 6 million. My mother and I are among them. I, who lived through the Holocaust, can understand the oppressed very well. It's my connection with the roots, with living together. It's our life story. We can't do anything about it. That's all there is. There's no other choice than to live in peace with the Arabs.
The second day of the trip, one can relax and, like tourists, drink coffee or go window shopping. the same time, 4,500 kilometers away, the situation in the Middle East is escalating.
Bonsoir à tous, nouvelle édition spéciale donc ce soir sur i24 News après ce nouvel attentat perpétré aujourd'hui à Jérusalem.
Suddenly these women who do not want to talk politics have to face their daily lives.
How do you feel when you hear there has been such an attack?
It makes me feel, I don't know. I feel ashamed. It concerns me. It has to do with my side and I don't know.
I can understand why you feel like that. And it's so confused. I think about our friendship. You don't want this situation, as I don't want this situation. Being together here, it's a dream. This dream can change the situation.
This question remains unanswered. The friendship between these women, the trust, the coexistence, will it only remain a dream, an unattainable utopia? Can joint projects like these really change reality?
My daughter, she does not want that. She feels ashamed. During the war with Gaza, she asked, how are you going to be able to meet with them, the Jews? They kill our children and do all these things. Don't you see on TV what's going on? It's not right. I see what's going on television, and I cry. I cry every day. But that's not a reason for not speaking with them. We meet and we sit and talk about that.
כל הרעיון של הפרויקט זה היה להגיע, מה שאני קורא, לפוצץ את האבסס.
The project's purpose is, as I call it, to get to lance the boil. We all have an abscess, full of pus, that hurts. And actually, I wanted to get inside. I wanted to dig it out. I wanted to dig it out of my belly. I wanted to talk about reality, about pain, because only after being able to express these things, only after that, can we talk about a different future.
When I was young, I wanted to change the whole world. And one day I understood that I can't change the whole world, that first I must change myself. And I like this. And those around me bring change. And since then, I work like this. And today I know that here, within our little group, at this level, I can do something.
By Tommy Harel in the studio. Tommy, thanks for joining us today. First question for you, why the olive tree?
On one hand, the olive tree symbolizes peace. If you ask any Jewish or Arab child in Israel to illustrate peace, he'll draw a dove with an olive branch. On the other hand, over recent years, the olive tree has become one of the symbols of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The olive tree is deep-rooted in the soil. It represents the land, the sense of belonging to the land. Unfortunately, olive trees are regularly burned down by Jews or by Arabs. Sheila, the artist who put this exhibition together, deliberately chose a symbol which on one hand can represent peace, but altogether represents a conflict, the olive tree.
When I always see in this film that the women are very apprehensive to discuss politics. They don't want to go there. Why is that?
Right. Every time I spoke to them and asked them questions which are somehow related to politics or to the conflict, they immediately flinched. I think they felt this dialogue is so fragile, so frail and delicate. that any inappropriate word would be enough to make it collapse. These women are not peace activists with a political agenda. They're just women who love painting. And through this project, they want to prove to the world, and mainly to the Israeli society, that it is possible. That it is not enough to live side by side without knowing each other. We only need to speak with each other.
True ground-up approach for peace. What did you think of this dialogue? Symbolic, or is there something real going on here?
I have to tell you the truth. I was very skeptical when I started this journey with these women. It seemed to me very artificial. We know how bad the reality in Israel has been during the past few months. There is no coexistence. We witness violence, racism on social networks, in the streets. A bilingual school was set on fire. I thought, how can they possibly keep talking about dialogue, about peace, about coexistence? But over time, after I spent a week in Mulhouse with them, I understood it was real. This friendship is genuine because they put aside their prejudices and they started talking about their feelings, about their fear, about their true human will for peace that brings them together. Once they put all the rest aside, there is an opportunity to talk about the future.
Well, fascinating dialogue for peace. Tommy Harel, thank you very much for bringing us the story.
Thank you, David.
And thank you for being with us. We'll see you again next week on Insight.